Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box for the Technical Trader. It's good to be back. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of February, and these are the charts of the day. Well, a lousy market today, and it was turned around Tuesday to say the least. Markets gapped down and stair-stepped their way lower, consolidated midday, and then rolled over in the afternoon. Not a surprise to myself or most of us. I want to take a look at some of the goals and some of the other longs. I'm going to look at some shorts, so it's a longer video than normal. Sit back and relax for a minute. Let's go over this. First of all, ABX, which we liked when it broke out here, but unfortunately I didn't put a swing on it, has rocketed from about the 8 3/4 range all the way to 13.5 just in the last 3 weeks. Now, yes, it's overbought. Do I want to take a look at where prior resistance is? Well, we're just beneath it. That comes in around 1340. Today, 1352, 1370 actually. So we're right up against the key triple top resistance level. Look, if we get through here, this can spike into the 15, 16, 17 range. Who knows where? But I would be very careful and play this with stops along with AU, which is a very similar pattern. You can see the resistance up in that zone from 2015 early on. But all of these have taken out their declining tops lines, long-term declining tops lines in some cases, like in the case of ABX. Check this out. Stock's been from the 59 range, came all the way down to 6. Finally, it's turned around. And but I think that nothing goes straight up, and I think that if we get a little pullback consolidation in this zone, it may set up a very nice long-term move on ABX. Something similar perhaps on AU if we get down near the $10 range. So I'm looking for some consolidation, but we may get a day or two follow-through first, which could take some of these a little higher. Another on the gold side would be obviously the Nugget, which is the triple ETF. And you can see that after a big run-up and pullback, this is actually wedged in a bullish fashion with the OBV moving higher. This looks quite powerful, folks. I must say, we could see this stock explode, and I mean spike up into the high 60s or even mid 80s. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just saying the possibility is there, particularly if it gets across this resistance zone. So keep a close tab on this tomorrow because all hell could break loose. And that's the Nugget. The J-Nug looks just as powerful, although it isn't quite above that triple top. This one has a target up near 79.80. It's 56 3/4, so this could be quite powerful as well. Keep your close tabs on these two. It should be interesting going forward. And I don't really want to go over all the golds today. I just wanted to show you, give you a flair for what some of the golds are looking like. EDIT, now a fairly new issue. I'm going to show you on a 15-minute basis how strong this has been. After the IPO, it then rolled over with the market, but it's been actually consolidated nicely. A beautiful bull coil breakout, retest, spike up, and it's stair-stepping its way higher. I would not be shocked to see this one get up as high as maybe high 20s. Somewhere between 26 and 28 is a very distinct possibility. Now, on the oil ETFs, the triple bear ETFs, as oil continues to slip back, we have a 5-wave move and a 3-wave corrective. If this is a falling wedge and it holds support in this zone here, and I would have to say that the stop would be on the 26.5, 26.25 area, but right now being 31, it's a long way from there. If the stock runs up, we may see a run to the mid-30s. We could see 39 on ERY. The other two in that group would be DWTI, but I'm going to skip that tonight and go to SCO. Very similar pattern, 5-wave move, 3-wave corrected, but this one's showing a higher low after double bottoming in end of January, early February, near the 145.49 zone. It then popped back up to 225 and pulled back. OBV is holding near the highs for the year. It looks like this one may have more to go. If oil gives us one more pullback, we could see this retest the highs or even make it as high as 270, 75. So this could be upwards of 75 to 100 points if oil gets whacked. The winner of the day, EYES. Matter of fact, 2 days in a row, the stock's gone from 430 to almost 7 today, reaching 693 at the high. Now, I must say that major declining top line after the IPO, it rolled over in a 5-wave decline here. Today was an important day because on 8.7 million, it exploded through the 50, the declining tops line. It may very well be on its way near the 7 3/4 to 8.5 zone. And I mean as early as tomorrow. We shall see. But sometime the next day or two, I do expect that could be a possibility. You can see after hours, the stock ran up to 693, which was the high of the session. It would not surprise me, and I'm kind of expecting it to maybe make a gap-up move tomorrow. We shall see. IIVI, well, I showed you over the weekend the pop and the pullback, and then it was moving back up to resistance. Well, even though Monday wasn't a terrific day, yet Tuesday was, and the stock popped about 3%. But volume was strong. It's the strongest in a couple weeks, 3 weeks actually. I'm looking for this to make a run at 23.5, 24 short term. Good day for Momo, and it's been a week of good days as it's gone from around 6 3/4 to 12. Now 12 1/4 was the high. This has nearly doubled in a week and a half. I wouldn't be chasing this one, but if tomorrow morning you see it's strong, it may very well test 13. In the meantime, the support at today's low is important. Keep an eye on 11.16 if you're trading that tomorrow. NPTN, I put a swing on it today because it popped through not only out of the wedge, but across the resistance level and this gap. Now it didn't hold it, but it was up about 4%, and I'm thinking that this is about to make it more important. Intermediate move that takes this one up eventually to 15 on a longer term basis. If we take a look at the big channel, we're looking like 23, 25, something like that. OME, well, this is one of our swing trades. I'm loving this head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders pattern. Today it was up 60 cents. It looks to me like it wants to make a move. The OBV is near the high for the year, holding up nicely. I'm really looking for this to break out and run. First stop 25, second stop 28, and eventually we could see a stock in the low 30s. We'll see. Our MTI late in the day had a big pop. Let me show it to you. Exploded, running from about 8 to 9 3/4, and then consolidating after hours right there. I'm going to see if this follows through tomorrow. It should be interesting. There's 17.3 days to cover, and not a big float. This was a beautiful biotech pick for us way back in here, but you can see how the stock, as after running up smartly into the 18-19 zone, all the way back down to 5. I'm not sure if this is a breakout or a retest of the declining tops line, but it did close above the 50-day moving average, and if you get any kind of follow-through, we can see 11, 12, even 13 on this one, especially with that short position. ROG, nice pop breakout. It took the 50 out, took the declining tops line. You can see the stock, which had come down from the 80s down to 40s, it cut in half, and then was consolidating here, broke out today with a pop on 585,000, which is big volume for that stock. My short-term target, about 57 to 4.83 days to cover, may help getting it there. And SWFT continues to act well and continues to look well. I like the V bottom and the rising flag. Today it closed right at resistance there, or right above it, and I think it follows through. I'm looking for 23/4 and 24 eventually. TREX with a nice important day today as the declining top line was tested. It didn't quite finish there, but after hours the bid and ask is stronger. And so I'm looking for a follow through to get it up to 44.5 tomorrow, and then we'll test and see if that's taken out. We can get it into the high 40s. TXRH with a strong earnings report. Texas Roadhouse exploded, 470, 13%, 5.2 million, and 8.5 days to cover. So the shorts may be running on this one, and long term 60, intermediate term 48. And lastly, on our long list today is Wins, which certainly has a beautiful base. Broke out a week ago, broke through lateral resistance, and it's had a rising flag, and it continues to act very, very well in here, with OBV moving to new 4 or 5 month highs. Now, there's resistance all along the way, but I'm looking for a stock to eventually get into the low 90s and then high 90s. On the short side, let's go to the box of shorts and take a look at some of the stocks that are in play, or at least the stocks that we've been following that I want to update you on. Starting off alphabetically with Ambarella. Now, Ambarella's been in a declining pattern for 6-7 months. And this is a wedge, and now we have another wedge. Unless it gets up and through the 44.5 zone, if it starts to roll over, the projection on this one would be downward to retest 33.5 and then get into the mid-20s. This could be interesting. But boy, is that thing taking a dive from 127 all the way down to 33 and change, and it still looks bad. No technicals moving at all when this stock moved up. Low volume as well. That tells me something. ANIP, well, it did snap back nicely here, but it's still in a declining pattern. I'd watch this one carefully. I'm doing this because a couple of people asked me about it. It's right at resistance, a little bit above today's high. Today's high was 36.55. Let's just say over 37. It may be a little bit more dangerous to short. BOKF, one of those three oil field bankers, has gotten crushed with oils, but this bear wedge here tells me something that this is not done yet. And there may be some problems with banks in that sector. It's down 3.5% or $1.82 today. If it takes out the 46 range, I'm looking at 41 and 38. SWFT looking awfully dire here as it broke down from the top and formed a wedge. That's where I first started following it, right at the declining 50 here and the declining tops line. It got hammered, formed a rising bear wedge, pulled back to test support, was able to hold support and bounce, but failed at declining tops line again, and then rolled over. Now it's bear wedging again, targeting 22 and 19 on SWFT. CPLA, one of those dreaded educational stocks. Well, you can see how it isn't looking very good in here, and I still think that based on everything I'm seeing and hearing, that this one's going to be high 30s eventually, and maybe even low 30s. CSII looking really bad. This stock broke down, bear flag, big bear flag, and a bear wedge, and yet having dropped from 40 some odd down to 7, this doesn't even look like a low. As a matter of fact, it broke down to new lows today. So let's look for maybe 5, 5.5, and something like that. Incredible. DeVry, well, this is just one bear flag and one bear wedge after one, and all the way down. It finally got hammered straight down and bounced off that level, yet just to form another bear wedge. Terrible technicals. I think this one tests the lows at 15.75 and then makes it down in the low teens, maybe 12 or 13. IBP, the top is in for sure, and then came down in a stair-step mode. Big consolidation, rolled over hard again. Now a 3-wave corrected bear flag at the 50-day moving average. Looking pretty bad. My target 17 and 15. LXFT broke down hard. I would wait for this one to develop more of a consolidation, perhaps move up a little bit more, but it isn't doing it, and the technicals look terrible. So maybe she goes down to 44 before it bounces. It's 51 right now. Monster. Well, if you're going to short the stock after a massive top and a breakdown here, it's rallied right back to the 21-day moving average and the rising neckline of that top formation. So if it's going to fail, it'll fail here, and it did back off $1 or $2 at one point today, late in the day. So and with this rally being that strong with these kind of technicals, this is not impressing me much. So I'm looking for a move back down towards 110, maybe 105, and eventually work its way down into the mid to high 80s. PRAA is just getting whacked. This bear wedge here broke it down hard, rallied, rolled over again, and yet I don't see a bottom. Having dropped from 66 down to 26, you would think this stock would be a little stronger than that, but there's room to run down even further. If I look at long-term support, it comes in somewhere, believe it or not, in the high teens, 18, 17, something like that. So looking for lower levels. PSIX got creamed again today, down 18% more. Even with 19 days to cover, it looks like the shorts are right on this one. The way it looks now, after a long decline, it's now in territory we haven't seen in several years. I wouldn't be in a rush to short this one. As a matter of fact, I'll be closer to covering it down here, having dropped from, believe it or not, 87 to 8. Wow. RCL, well, I'm not surprised that these Royal Caribbean lines, Norwegian Caribbean lines kind of stocks have gotten hammered. It was just a matter of time, in my opinion. This one going from 104.5 range down to 64.5, and yet that bounce there came on rather lousy technicals, if you ask me. The OBV wasn't bad, but I think it's right at resistance here and due for a retest at the very least. Could get it back to 64, 65, so maybe another 9 or 10 points down. Restoration Hardware, wow, when that top broke, it broke, and how? Here's your wedge that we looked at it. Down bounce, terrible. So dropping from 105 down to the 40s and still doesn't look like a bottom is in. STX, well, after the top was put in this one, it continues to get whacked. Major top formation broken here, wedge there, another wedge, and another wedge, and yet, to me, it looks like a $24 and $21 stock eventually. TNET, big break, bear wedge, bear flag, smoked, large multi-month bear wedge, or bear flag, whatever you want to call it, and then it broke down again. Eventually, based on the angle of descent, this could be a single-digit stock. And lastly, Zions Bank, looking pretty dire, unable to even rally back to resistance, and in a falling flag, targeting 18 on this one or less. And that's it tonight, kind of comprehensive long and short of it. Talk to you in the trading room tomorrow. Good night, folks.